Thank you.
Very briefly.
Absolutely, Chairman. Good morning. My name's Pat O'Connell. I'm an attorney. My practice is in Bloomsburg.
Are you Irish?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Oh, just asked.
Okay. Very much so, and proud of it.
My wife's Irish. His wife's Irish.
You made good choices.
The Irish couldn't beat us, so they joined us.
This is being televised, so you understand they may see that, right? In any event, as you know by now, it was my privilege and honor to represent the Feinbergs. I'm just going to go over a little bit of my background. I'm in Columbia County, Pennsylvania, and I've practiced in Luzerne, Montour. A good part of the 16 years of my practice has been devoted to medical malpractice defense work. I've worked for the bulk of the insurance companies who represent or provide coverage to physicians throughout the Commonwealth. And literally, I've tried over 30 medical malpractice cases and settled probably 100 or more. As a defense attorney, being paid for by the insurance companies, representing the physicians, hospitals, et cetera. It was in that capacity I came to know Dr. Kalman Feinberg, who just preceded me in testifying. He's a pathologist, and one of the hospitals he has privileges at is the Bloomsburg Hospital in my county. And I was introduced to him. He was serving as an expert in a case I was working on. And it was in that brief snapshot where he told me of the dental problems that his wife had with the doctor in Reading. And I told him that I would evaluate his case and examine it to see if there was indeed a case worth pursuing. So we acquired the records, including Margaret Feinberg's records from the doctor and the dental records from all of the treatment she had in Atlanta, which was significant. I mean, a pile about that big. So I put those records together, and as we do in any malpractice case, they were sent to an expert witness, a board-certified prosthodontist, which is what this doctor or dentist represented himself to be in Reading. Board-certified prosthodontist, which we found out later was inaccurate. In any event, the records were sent to the prosthodontist, who said, absolutely, this is a clear case of malpractice. None of this treatment should have been done. It was erroneously done. There was no informed consent, no written informed consent. We later found out the dentist does not even have a license to administer anesthesia in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, yet was proceeding to do that. Also, his wife, who was the office assistant, the one who had 6 husbands previously, 40 years old, suicide attempts, 7. Okay, I lost count. She wasn't Irish. She had absolutely no license. And welcome any questions.
Well, I was floored like you. I thought all dentists carried liability. And having this committee, myself, and some of the old-timers, we've been here a while and represented, we went through the CAT fund, the MCARE, the liability, and never was brought up about the dentist, the problem we have now. This is a tragedy, really, a real tragedy.
It is, and it's even more surprising is that when I hear only 10 states at this point have a law in the books requiring dentists to carry malpractice insurance. I mean, somehow the dentists have slid under the radar on this one, and I think the ADA ought to be contacted next, but obviously that's not for us to do here.
Representative Dilica?
Pat, let me, certainly we understand what a tragedy this is, and maybe through your experience as in handling malpractices and insurance.
Yes.
And doctor, since you have gone through this situation with your wife, maybe you could lend us or give us some idea. I'm more interested, we favor this legislation, but I would be more interested how we could stop this issue from happening to anybody else. Malpractice insurance does not stop this issue. Mrs. Feinberg would have went through this. We want to be sure, and maybe there's a way through the boards, that we could do something to make the board stronger so people don't have to go through this. So having medical malpractice is not going to stop this. Well, it could and it could not. And I'm more interested in finding solutions so that this doesn't happen to any profession, a medical profession or any doctor or anything else. Because the story I heard is traumatic. She shouldn't have to go through that. And malpractice insurance is not going to bring all her health back. And
No.
what I'm more interested in, we favor the malpractice stuff. But we were more interested in, my personal opinion, is to stop this from happening. And since you have tried a lot of these cases, and doctor, you're a medical doctor, maybe there's something we need to do with the boards. And I would appreciate your opinion. It's giving us that information, to me, both chairmen, so that maybe we can come up with legislation to make it stronger. We have a new commissioner now who's very concerned about these problems, and we need to give her the ammunition to be able to make this a stronger situation where we don't have this happening. Because if they had medical malpractice, that situation doesn't stop her from getting harmed.
No, it would have assisted in that there would be a remedy for the Feinbergs, but you're right, it wouldn't have reversed the harm. What could be done, but again, it wouldn't have helped the Feinbergs, but after the fact is we've requested, essentially petitioned the Board of Professional and Occupational Affairs to issue, and it does have the authority and power to do this, an emergency suspension, because as we sit here today, this dentist is doing very invasive procedures, charging lots of money, and essentially committing fraud, because we know in a lot of instances, because they've been contacted after the fact.
Your expertise, I hope you would give us some ideas how we could strengthen the board.